So we're in the key of A minor for Still D.R.E. by Dr. Dre with Snoop off the Chronic 2001 album, the key of A minor. Very, very classic song. Definitely a great trend-setting song in terms of the production style that Dr. Dre put together on the Chronic 2001. Completely, different from the original Chronic in the 90s, but the early 90s, I should say. But definitely production and sound really changed the style in the game. So in the key of A minor, I'll start off with that first. I'll play the scale, then we'll break down each singular note. So key of A minor is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. No sharps or flats, and relatively speaking, you're going to have the C major scale, which also has no sharps and flats. And I'll just play that for you as well. And C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. It's always good to have two sides, the major and the minor scale, in terms of chord structures and scales, because it builds a great knowledge base in terms of musical ability and music foresight. That being said, the bass notes for this song, you can play the bass as deep as you want. Don't try to make it too deep because you won't be able to recognize the bass chord. Bass chords are simply as follows. It starts off with that droning E note. So you're going from E, A to B, E. And that's all the bass is doing. It's either a bass or a cello. You can play it. There's so many instruments that Dre's team used for production. You don't really know sometimes, but it sounds like a bass to me. But when the strings come in and become more pronounced, it does sound like a cello to me. But A, B, E. And that's what you're going to be doing. E, A. B, E. And if you want to get a little bit more elegant, you can add you play E in octaves to A, B, and E. Okay, so that is it for the opening introduction, scale, and bass chords. Now we're going to go into the melodic section, which is very easy. So the final chord pattern, or the main chord pattern that you hear throughout the song, is simply going to be the staccato chords in the right hand. Let's break those down very quickly. C, E, A. That's an inverted A minor. C, E, A, one more time. B, E, A. That's a suspended E minor fourth chord. The final chord, let's explain that. B, E, A. And then the final chord is E minor, B, E, and G. And that's all you'll be playing in the regular pattern of A minor, E minor, sus, and then regular E. Before I even really name it, that's how fast you play. It's a quick transition between the suspended fourth of E minor and E minor inverted. That's all you're going to be really doing for the last two chords. Now in the bass hand, now your E is going to be a placeholder of the E minor chords for the E minor sus4 and E minor inverted. And the A is simply going to be holding the A minor chord in the right hand that you're playing, and the B is simply a transition point between the two. So as I play it, I'll play it slow. Okay, so with that being said, I played a little bit at regular pace towards the end, but the point remains, the A. The A and the E are simply going to be held together when all is said and done. So think of it as the holding pattern for the B, E, and G is held together by the E and the bass. And the A is C, C, E, and A is simply held together by the A bass 2. Okay, and then if you want to get a little more technical, and then end it on the A minor. And you end it that way. As there's no formal ending to the song, it just fades into, the track fades into a low volume. You can add your own little twist at the end just by playing a regular A minor. But that's it for still D.R.E. Key of A minor relative to C major. Chronic 2001.